slap some sense into someone or talk some sense into someone
บางทีเราอาจจะต้องพูดในสิ่งที่ค่อนข้างพูดยากแต่จำเป็นต้องพูด
Oh did you hear about cousin Larry He got a great job and he's engaged or maybe a lot more to it than you realize
They might have tried like other methods. They try to be a little harsher. Nothing works. One person might not be enough. This is kind of like the evil version of the surprise party. You get home one day, you open the front door and everybody's there.
Calling the troops
Yeah, you're slowly killing yourself and I cannot watch that happening. Sit down. We need to talk. Welcome to Talk Native Episode 3. My name is Vic from the Standard KNT.
And my name is Christine from RELO, which is the Regional English Language Office at the U.S. Embassy.
วันนี้เรากลับมาพูดคุยกับ Native Speaker of English Language อีกแล้วนะครับแต่ว่าอย่างที่เคยย้ำไว้ว่าการพูดภาษาอังกฤษที่ดีไม่ได้แปลว่าคุณต้องพูดด้วยสำเนียงแบบ Native Speaker เสมอไปคุณสามารถจะพูดใน accent ของคุณได้เองเลยนะครับเพราะฉะนั้นเรากำลังจะไม่ได้บอกว่าต้องพูดเหมือน Native เท่านั้นถึงจะดีเราแค่อยากจะให้คุณได้ฝึกฟังนะครับทั้งการออกเสียงทั้งความคิดเห็นทั้งความคิดจากคนที่เป็น native speaker เท่านั้นเอง so I'm just saying that it's not necessary for you to sound exactly like a native speaker we just want you to listen to a native's point of view or the pronunciation like the phrases you use so that could be beneficial to a lot of learners of English language
Absolutely get a new perspective think about things in a new way for sure.
Cool so what are we getting into today Christine
Well lately I've been thinking about this phrase we use sometimes in English slap some sense into someone or talk some sense into someone
Okay So the slap one kind of gives like a very graphic feelings of like actually physically slap someone in the face.
Well, you don't actually physically slap someone in the face. That would be horrible. Well, maybe you could, but it wouldn't be great. But if you talk some sense into someone, you're trying to reason with them and convince them that something that they're doing is not good.It's maybe bad for them.
Yeah.
If you slap some sense into someone, you're doing that in a more aggressive way.
Because sometimes you have to do the hard talk, like say something that is pretty hard to say, but you need to say it.
Absolutely.
Because if not, it could end up not so good for your friends.
Yes.
Because now we're talking about talking to your friends because for other people maybe we don't care about them that much and you don't have the right to just go up to anybody and like tell them what to do right but for our friends sometimes that needs to be done don't you think
it's that tough love
right.
like we do nice sweet things for people we love but if we truly love them and we see them going down a rough path that we think is going to hurt them in the end, we're going to say something because we care about them, even though it could be an uncomfortable conversation.
วันนี้เป็นแบบ another level เลยนะครับคืออีกหนึ่งเวลหนึ่งเลยนอกจากจะพูดจาภาษาอังกฤษหรือว่าพูดจาให้รู้เรื่องกันแล้วเนี่ยเราบางทีเราอาจจะต้องพูดในสิ่งที่ค่อนข้างพูดยากแต่จำเป็นต้องพูดโดยเฉพาะอย่างยิ่งกับคนที่เรารักกับคนที่เราแคร์เพราะไม่เช่นนั้นแล้วเนี่ยเราก็ไม่อยากมองเพื่อนของเราทำในสิ่งที่เลวร้ายหรือว่าเป็นอันตรายกับตัวเองลองนึกถึงสถานการณ์ที่คุณอาจจำเป็นจะต้องพูดตรงๆกับเพื่อนของคุณเพื่อที่จะให้เขาได้เปลี่ยนแปลงพฤติกรรมที่ไม่ค่อยดีบางอย่าง so can you think of any situation where you need to slap some sense into someone or talk some sense or knock some sense I've heard that too
right? Knock some sense is also possible I think if you talk some sense into someone maybe for example let's say your mom is always comparing you with your brother or sister or maybe your cousin or something like that and saying, did you hear about cousin Larry, he got a great job and he's engaged and he's buying a house. And it's like, well, good for cousin Larry, So I think in that case, obviously you're not going to slap some sense into your mom, but you might try to talk to her about that and let her know that, hey, mom, like, this doesn't make me feel good when you talk about these things.
Yeah. It's not easy to just talk about this stuff, right? First of all, we don't feel good about ourselves from the start. And second of all, you have to talk to someone who's usually it's your mom, right?
Yeah.
You don't tell them what to do.
No.
Moms, right? But sometimes you have to say something. Otherwise, she's gonna keep hurting you, probably unintentionally.
Yeah. She might not even be aware of it. It just might be her way of encouraging you.
Okay.
In her mind, she's encouraging you to be better, do better.
But her way kind of hurts you.
Absolutely.
Her way, yeah. So we cannot let this go on, and we have to find a way to let her know. So how might that go if you have to talk to your mom about this?
I would probably steer away from calling your mom, but from accusing your mom of anything. If you're saying, Mom, you're so judgmental, stop.
Okay. This you should not do.
I don't think so. I don't think it'd be very effective. I mean, she would probably hear you, but she might get a little defensive too. I think to be a little more effective, you might say something like, hey, Mom, I'm happy for cousin Larry, but it really makes me feel inadequate or not good enough when you're constantly compare him with me or something like that. And I guarantee you, your mom doesn't want to hurt you, right? So I feel like if she heard something like that, she'd be like, oh, well, that's not what I meant. That's not how my intention.
So instead of pointing fingers and say that you are so judgmental.
Right.
แทนที่จะบอกแม่ว่าแม่เป็นคนที่ขี้ตัดสินเหลือเกินทำไมแม่ถึงใจร้ายอย่างนี้นั่นก็คือการชี้นิ้วไปที่แม่เลยเรากลับบอกว่าเวลาแม่พูดอย่างนี้ผมหรือหนูหรือฉันรู้สึกแบบนี้ so instead of pointing fingers you kind of change it up to when you say this I feel this so this is like the I statement so instead of you are or you do this no I feel this.
Absolutely, yeah. Because when we accuse people of things, people naturally get defensive, right? And that usually doesn't go very far.
Okay.
But if you can focus on the facts of the things, that someone has done or said, and just explain to them, hey, when you do this thing, it makes me feel this way. And then you can make a request of them, I would really appreciate it if you saw me and Larry as the unique individuals that we are, and you could appreciate the different qualities that we both have.
Oh,
or something like
that's
that.
Good.
Yeah.
That sounds a lot better. It sounds like you are grown up and you are reasoning with her.
Yeah.
We talk reasons here. I'm not being emotional or I'm not being angry at what you did, but this is how that makes me feel.
Exactly.
Okay.
Yeah. And I think, most people, we don't want to hurt each other. So I feel like if someone hears that, they're going to be like, oh, well, I'm sorry. She'll probably get a little defensive and tell you why she said what she said. But I feel like, most people who care about us are going to sit and think about that later and change their behavior, hopefully.
Okay. Yeah. So how about in the work environment? Let's say if one of your teammates, he or she is always late. And you feel like you need to say something.
Yeah.
Yeah. How might that go if we want to stick with the I statement?
Yeah. If it becomes a perpetual problem, you might want to say something. Maybe, you could bring up how it affects the team's work. Or it, you might say, when you're late, when you're 15 minutes late every day or when you're 30 minutes late every day, we lose a lot of time. And you might offer to help as well. Maybe ask them what's going on. Hey, is there a problem? Is there some way we can help you or whatever? I would start with that.
Okay.
Because you don't always know what's going on. Like it may be a situation where they're trying to drop their kids off at school and maybe they have to wait for their teacher. Who knows?
Yeah.
But I would definitely investigate first before I just went in there.
Investigate first that's good ลองพยายามสืบดูก่อนว่าปัญหามันมาจากไหนเกิดอะไรขึ้นมันเป็นแค่ความจำเป็นของเขาหรือเป็นเรื่องที่เขานิสัยไม่ดีและเกิดความเคยชินแล้วรู้สึกว่าไม่เห็นเป็นไรเลย so maybe something is going on at home for them or maybe on the other hand they might not have anything bad going on at all but they just feel like why not why is this such a bad thing everybody's late anyway
right.
so investigate first and then you know the cause of the problem
exactly
and you can just go on into like when you do this we kind of feel this way or this is happening when you are late
absolutely or maybe the boss maybe you've noticed the boss is noticing their behavior and you're worried about their reputation with the boss and you're trying to help them out and that way be like hey like the boss said this or the boss said that and like I think you really need to focus on
this is good so it's not just like the distant relationship or someone who just are like colleagues but maybe it's your bestie that is late all the time and you kind of worry for them right that don't you know that the boss has his eyes on you at the moment as we speak and you should not do this
or like hey do you need me to give you a ride or like call you make sure you're awake or whatever but I would offer some help
I really like this so not just try to judge their behavior or just try to get them to change or force them to change but you really understand them
absolutely
a lot of time that could really solve the problem like get into the roots of the problems
definitely because there may be a lot more to it than you realize
okay
or they may just be late they might just have developed a bad habit I've done it before in the past that just becomes your routine and sometimes you do need somebody to kind of intervene and be like hey like this is a problem we're waiting for you all the time
intervene hearing that word kind of gets me to think of the other word like intervention personally I see this on like the American movies and shows and series all the time มีอยู่คำหนึ่งมันคือคำว่า intervention นะครับซึ่งมันจะเป็นสิ่งที่ผมเห็นแต่ในหนังในซีรีส์เรารู้สึกอยากรู้มากเลยว่าจริงๆแล้วเนี่ยคนอเมริกันเขาทำสิ่งนี้กันหรือเปล่า so you've heard of interventions right
sure of course I think there was a TV show called Intervention at one point wasn't there
I'm not
on
sure.
Like MTV maybe I don't remember
so basically what is intervention can you describe what is going on
an intervention would be when there's some very serious problem that somebody has most of the time it's about drugs or alcohol someone is addicted to some kind of substance
right
but it could be about other things like if someone is doing some other type of self-destructive behavior for example if someone is I don't know severely overweight if you're 400 pounds and your family is worried about you they might come to you and say like we really are worried about you and we want you to take care of your health
and they might have tried like other methods
absolutely
they tried like to like talk some sense into you they try to be a little harsher nothing works
right
so maybe just them is not enough like one person might not be enough so we have to call other helps
call in the troops
we kind of have to like put the team effort into this
hey
Marshall this is an intervention
it's about the hat what no okay have it under control okay I can take it off whenever I want
cool blimey this is a nice bloody surprise what's this about then
really it's about the weird fake English accent
Bollocks.
I think we should.
Spray tan? They reel you in with a coupon and then you just get hooked. Oh, we know, sweetie, we know. No. This is a new sweater.
ก็คือเป็นการแบบสมมุติว่าคนที่มีปัญหาเรื่องแอลกอฮอล์ติดเหล้าดื่มเยอะเกินไปแล้วหรือว่าคนที่มีปัญหาเกี่ยวกับเรื่องการใช้แบบยาเสพติดอะไรอย่างเงี้ยแล้วรู้สึกว่าเฮ้ยการแค่พูดกันเฉยๆเนี่ยมันไม่พอละวันออนวันไม่พอต้องเรียกคนอื่นมาช่วยกันเพราะฉะนั้นหน้าตามันจะประมาณว่าเหมือนกับการรุมแต่ว่าจริงๆมันรุมด้วยความรักนะรุมด้วยคนที่ใกล้ชิดรุมด้วยคนที่หวังดีรุมด้วยคนที่มีความปรารถนาดีต่อเขาจริงๆอาจจะเป็นเพื่อนสนิทเป็นสมาชิกในครอบครัวเป็นแฟนก็ตามทีนะครับก็คือทุกคนต้องเก็ตว่าเรามารวมกันที่นี่เพื่อช่วยกันพูดให้เขาตระหนักถึงปัญหาสักทีแล้วก็เราต้องแก้ปัญหานี้แล้ว so basically it kind of looks like we're ganging up on someone or we try to ambush that person because most of the time this is kind of like the evil version of the surprise party
right? Worst surprise ever.
Yeah, so it's like you get home one day, you open the front door, and everybody's there.
Yeah,
ready to talk to you.
With no cake, no balloons.
No. And they all look serious. And okay, sit down. We need to talk.
Yeah,
it might go like that, right?
It very well could go like that. Yeah.
Do you think this is a good idea, or okay? First of all, is this actually done in like Americans culture?
I mean, I'm sure it happens for sure. I've never been a part of an intervention. I don't think it's a regular part of life that everybody goes through. I think most people probably go through their whole lives and never experience one or are a part of one.
But this is because it is so extreme, right?
Yeah.
It is usually saved for some extreme problem like drugs or drinking problem.
Yeah.
Okay.
Exactly. Yeah. But it does happen. I mean, it certainly exists. But it's not a part of everyday life. And it might not ever be a part of your life. It just depends on you and your experience.
Okay. Do you think it would actually work?
I don't know. Personally, I think you can't change anybody else's behavior. I think you could go and express to them your concern and things like that, but ultimately change is up to that person. If they're not ready to change, if they're not ready to stop drinking or to stop doing drugs, there's nothing you can really do, I think. But I think that talking to them certainly couldn't hurt. It's worth trying if you really care about somebody.
Yeah, it's worth trying. I think that's also the key word because you can't just sit and watch the other person ruin their life, right?
No.
Because it's not like a great thing that it could be good or bad, but drugs, come on.
Yeah.
Drugs, it's drinking. So you're slowly killing yourself and I cannot watch that happening.
Right.
And that's why we are all here today. So the thing is, you don't need to do exactly what intervention usually goes, but you can just like apply some of the like the philosophy of like just not just you talking to them one-on-one, but you can like call on other people for help too.
Call in some backup. Yeah, and I think maybe if that person sees that, hey, there's more than one person who cares about me or who is worried about me, I think it helps them get the message a lot more clearly. That it's not just a personal attack between two people. It's, wow, lots of people are worried. Like maybe this is a problem.
Yeah. เพราะฉะนั้นเรื่องนี้อาจจะต้องทำกันอย่างระมัดระวังเราไม่ได้บอกว่ามันควรจะต้องทำกันแบบนี้นะครับเพราะว่าหลายๆคนเนี่ยอาจจะมีความรู้สึกเหมือนกับคำว่าgang up on someone ก็คือเหมือนกับรุมหรือว่าการ ambush มันคือการแบบว่าซุ่มโจมตีอ่ะคือโดยที่เขาไม่รู้ตัวว่าสิ่งนี้จะเกิดขึ้นแล้วอยู่ๆเซอร์ไพรส์3คน5คนมารุมพูดให้เขาพยายามเปลี่ยนแปลงพฤติกรรมอะไรเงี้ยมันต้องทำกันอย่างระมัดระวังแต่ประเด็นก็คือบางครั้ง ความเป็นจริงก็คือเราคนเดียวอาจจะไม่พอในการที่จะช่วยเพื่อนเพราะฉะนั้นอาจจะต้องช่วยกันหลายคนแต่ว่าวิธีจะทำพร้อมๆกันหรือผลัดกันไปค่อยๆทยอยพูดก็แล้วแต่ดุลพินิจของแต่ละคนกันละกัน so it might not necessarily be like everybody at the same time but you can just like take turn into like talking to that person.
It's possible, yeah. I mean, I think probably every intervention looks different. Maybe, you talk to your friend or family member one-on-one. Maybe someone else talks to them privately. Or maybe if that doesn't work, you all get together and talk to them as a group. I don't know.
Yeah. So I think what we're trying to say here is that this is not an easy task.
No.
Trying to talk some sense into someone because they might have some hard stuff going on in their life their life may be super tough and we don't know about and I really like your advice on like trying to ask them and then try to get to the bottom of the problem and try to help them instead of feeling like you have to change someone.
Right.
Yeah.
You can't change anyone.
It has to be their decision at the end.
It does,
right.
For sure.
Okay. So, yeah, I think it's good to talk about this and you might be able to help someone but you cannot like control their life. I think that's the bottom line.
You can lead a horse to water, but you can't make him drink. Yeah, it's true.
Yeah. So thank you for hanging out today and I really enjoyed our talk.
Well, thank you for having me.
Okay.
I loved this talk. I think these conversations are difficult, but so important to have.